A group of friends find themselves on a beach with only one rule: under no circumstances should they touch the sand. Let's find out what happens if someone breaks this rule. The friends throw a lively beach party. They're having fun and enjoying the good times. The girls dance in swimsuits, enjoying their drinks, while the guys come up with various games. Two friends, Vance and Gilbert, find a large, sticky-feeling ball and drag it closer to the party area. The party is in full swing. Acrobatic tricks, drinks, jokes, and kisses. Everything you need for a good time is here. The next morning, Mitch and Kaylee wake up in the lifeguard tower. Jonah and Shonda fell asleep in the car, while Vance and Ronnie are asleep in the back seat. Gilbert, as a prank by his friends, wakes up in a trash can. Marcia wakes up on a picnic table. Kaylee steps out of the lifeguard tower and notices the convertible with her friends, among them her ex-boyfriend, Jonah. Kaylee is surprised as none of the other friends are around. Only their sleeping bags are left on the beach. Marcia wakes up and discovers that the top of her swimsuit is missing. She assumes it's a prank by her friend Heather. Kaylee notices a bird on the shore that is suddenly sucked into the sand. She tries to warn Marcia not to dangle her legs off the picnic table, but Marcia does touch the sand and is immediately pulled down. She screams desperately, but the friends, struggling with hangovers, don't understand what's happening. Vance runs to help her, but he also gets sucked into the sand. The friends start to panic because they can't start the convertible to get away. Mitch finds a rope in the lifeguard tower and throws it to Vance, but the sand's force is so strong it practically tears Vance to pieces. Soon, Vance is completely gone, and the same thing happens to Marcia. Ronnie is in shock. Clearly, this isn't ordinary sand. It's something much more terrifying. The friends try calling emergency services, but all their phones were left in the car's trunk. They had put them there the night before to avoid any compromising photos or videos from the party. Jonah tries again to start the convertible, but it looks like the battery is dead. Kaylee reaches her hand out to the sand and notices strange magnetic threads resembling tiny hairs coming from it. Meanwhile, Gilbert wakes up in the trash can and realizes he's stuck and can't get out. The friends beg him not to move so the can doesn't fall onto the sand. Gilbert doesn't really believe them and thinks it's another prank, but he's unable to free himself, and no one hurries to help him. Many hours pass. Ronnie writes in her journal, Jonah and Shonda doze off, and Gilbert suffers from sunstroke. Kaylee asks Mitch what happened that night, why they could walk on the sand yesterday but can't today. She throws the friends a tube of sunscreen and asks the same question again. What changed overnight? Finally, the friends realize that all the teens who are no longer on the beach fell victim to this horrific sand. Only they have survived. Jonah throws Gilbert the sunscreen, and he finally smiles. Gilbert notices remnants of the sticky ball that he and Vance had dragged over the night before. The friends realize that this ball was actually some kind of egg, and during the night, a real monster hatched from it, now hiding in the sand and feeding on everything that steps into its territory. This monster has already consumed Vance, Heather, Marcia, and many other teens. Kaylee finds hot dogs in the lifeguard tower and throws them into different parts of the beach to understand the size of the danger zone. The monster eats the first two sausages, and then a bird that landed near Gilbert. Mitch throws a third hot dog, but it remains untouched, meaning the monster can't reach that spot. The friends catch a glimpse of hope for rescue, but the distance to the sausage that's beyond the monster's reach is significant. Jonah grabs two surfboards, using them as a makeshift bridge to reach the picnic table. On his way, he even argues with Kaylee, feeling jealous of her and Mitch. Jonah makes it to the table, but the surfboard slips under his feet, and he leans dangerously close to the sand. It seems like the monster is deliberately moving the board. Magnetic tendrils reach out from the sand, injuring his stomach. Jonah barely manages to leap onto the table, but feels a severe weakness and passes out. When he regains consciousness, he screams in pain. It feels like a jellyfish sting, but 1,000 times worse. It's clear that the monster in the sand is extremely poisonous. Jonah spots someone's bag on the sand, from which a banana falls out, but the monster ignores it as it lands in the ashes of a bonfire. Jonah jumps into the center of this ash spot, and nothing happens to him, meaning the creature fears fire. Jonah feels relieved, but his stomach wound looks terrible. The cuts are starting to fester. Kaylee instructs Jonah to return to the table and check the bag. Inside, he finds a can of soda for Ronnie and Shonda, a water bottle for Gilbert, and a can of Pepsi for Kaylee and Mitch. Jonah's condition worsens. Despite the unbearable pain, he climbs onto the picnic table and lies down. The friends notice that the surfboards are starting to sink into the sand. Jonah can't return to the car now. Besides, even the car isn't entirely safe. The sand monster is gradually eating the rubber tires. Gilbert suggests getting their cell phones from the trunk. Ronnie tries to open the trunk from inside the car, but it doesn't work. So, holding tightly onto Chanda, she tries to pull the trunk release lever. After several attempts, it becomes clear that it won't work. Kaylee finds a rescue hook on the tower and throws it to Ronnie. She grabs the hook while Chanda holds her hand. Ronnie manages to open the trunk, but she can't reach the phones as the trunk lid catches her fingers. A police patrol arrives at the beach. The teens warn the officer about the danger, but he doesn't believe them. The officer steps out of his car. At first, nothing happens to him. He mocks them. especially Gilbert, who is still stuck in the trash can. The friends realize that the officer's thick-soled boots protect him. The officer orders Kaylee and Mitch to come down from the tower, but they refuse. He accidentally drops his keys onto the sand, and as he bends down to pick them up, the sand grabs his arm. The man tries to use his pepper spray but loses his right hand and falls onto the sand, where he becomes the monster's next victim. Kaylee manages to grab the pepper spray. Mitch comes up with a new plan. He wants to put on flip-flops, wrap his feet in towels, spray them with pepper spray, and run to the police car to get help. Chanda throws him the towels. He catches the first one, but when he tries to grab the second, the railing on the lifeguard tower breaks and he falls onto the sand. The monster immediately attacks him, and no one can help him. The friends can only watch the last moments of his life. Kaylee is devastated but refuses to give up. She instructs Chanda to climb down from the tower and help pull the others onto the car hood. She jumps into the convertible and slaps Chanda for spending the night with her boyfriend. Kaylee sees that Jonah is still alive, and they confess their love for each other. Together, Kaylee and Chanda free Ronnie's fingers from the trunk lid. It's painful for Ronnie, but at least she's no longer trapped. Gilbert discovers he injured his stomach while trying to escape from the trash can, and his blood drips onto the sand, drawing the monster's attention. Chanda grabs the broken railing and uses it as a bridge to reach Jonah, who is lying on the table. Kaylee follows her, while Ronnie, almost at the finish line, stumbles and falls onto the sand. Kaylee tries to use the pepper spray, but it's no use. The monster pulls Ronnie under. Chanda recalls Mitch's plan, wraps her feet in towels, drenches them in pepper spray, and runs toward the police car. She manages to reach it and jumps onto the hood, but moments later, the monster attacks Gilbert, sucking him down through the bottom of the trash can. The horrible creature extends long tendrils, striking the police car, causing Chanda to fall on the hood and lose consciousness. When she comes to, Chanda reaches the trunk and finds an inflatable raft inside. She inflates it, jumps in, and helps Kaylee and Jonah make it to the police car. Suddenly, a massive glowing tentacle emerges from beneath the sand and attacks Kaylee. She climbs onto the hood and finds 2 gas cans, which she uses to set the monster's tentacle on fire. The friends lock themselves inside the car, horrified as they watch the massive tentacle stretch toward them. At last, the monster retreats. Kaylee and Chanda see that Jonah hasn't survived his severe injuries, and they weep bitterly. Exhausted, they eventually fall asleep. In the morning, a man knocks on the car window, asking if they're okay. Kaylee and Chanda realize the monster has vanished, and they can now safely walk on the sand. But where has it gone? In the distance, they see a creature resembling a giant jellyfish moving toward another beach, crowded with people.